hello there, and this is the first video in a little category or series that I want to do on my channel, which is retro gaming, and especially retro gaming featuring role-playing games, old ones. And I would like to start with probably my favorite series of classic RP games, which is the Ultima series. Was highly influential, and still you can feel like that influence in modern games. And I think that together with Wizardry and Rogue, Ultima was probably the most influential computer role-playing game from the early days, from that era. First game came out in 1981. It wasn't actually the first game by Richard Garriott, Lord British, who's the developer and inventor. He did a game before that, the Calabeth, which you can play for free or get for free on GOG.com. And that's where I'm getting those games from, the modernized versions, not like modernized, but they run on modern computers. And I would like to take a little look with you at those games. I think, Richard Garriott invented those games, but of course he was heavily inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, so we'll see some influence from that. And of course, Dungeons and Dragons itself was incredibly influential. But, I think a lot of people took clues from the Ultima games. So let's take a look at that. On the screen right now, you see the different covers of the different games. There were 9 games altogether. There were a couple of spin-offs, like the Ultima Underworld games, and there were some adventures that were set in the Ultima universe but in different worlds. And then there was Ultima Online, which was a very early MMORPG, very successful. I guess, the earliest really successful MMORPG. There was Mud before that, and there was Meridian 59. But I think Ultima Online blew open the doors and exceeded the expectations that the studio had, pretty much. And it's still going, actually. So let's take a look at the first game. And before we do, a little disclaimer, a little warning. What you're going to see and hear is very, very old school, not very pleasing to the eye and ear. It was back then, because back then this was new stuff, and nowadays it looks very dated, but for some reason I still feel that magic that those games had back in the 80s. When I was looking at these covers that you see on the screen and wishing, I was wanting to have those games, play them, and I did play a lot of them. And even when the graphics looked dated and really didn't show you a lot of detail, I think your head would add stuff to it. So, you wouldn't just see those really rough pixels on the screen. You would, your mind would fill in the details and actually make it more amazing. That's what happened to me. That's what still sometimes happens these days. So let's take a look at the first game, which is Ultima 1. There we go. Wow. High resolution, right? So that's the first game. Came out in 1981. After, of course, I mentioned the Calabeth. And those two games share a lot. So let's take a look at it. I'm gonna start, and there's the next start screen, and we're gonna start by generating a new character. And let's go ahead. And I actually have to delete one of my characters, so let's do that. And now I can distribute 30 points. I'm gonna make a warrior, so let's pump up the strength. Pump up the agility a little, the stamina, and give me some charisma, because that's gonna influence the store prices. So that's my character, and you can also create different classes. Actually, let's first pick out a race and a gender, and we could be a fighter, cleric, a wizard, or a thief. I'm gonna pick a fighter for now. Let's enter a name. One of my World of Warcraft character names from back in the day. back in the day, which was like 30 years after Ultima 1. So here we go. I'm gonna save the character and let's start the game by picking the character I just created. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the game. This is the UI and the game graphics. And yes, it looks incredibly dated. But back then, this was like the, this is new. This was pretty cool. And as you can already tell from the sounds, didn't sound very pleasant as well. And the main idea of the game is that you're a stranger appearing in this land, Caesarea, and there's an evil wizard, Mundane, who's got something called the Gem of Immortality, and you have to, destroy that gem and take out the wizard. Pretty basic stuff, but there again, our minds did the rest and added some more details, I guess. So right now we see a castle and a town, and so let's visit the castle. I'm going to show you something, I guess, a very early cheat code. I press E to enter, and this is the inside of the castle. I guess I'm in the yard. We can see some guards. You can already see the king on the right side and his jester, and princess in a jail cell, which is part of the later game, I guess. So this is a pond, and there's a little trick. I'm sure you know these lucky fountains, as fortune fountains, or whatever you're going to call them. And we're going to drop some money into this pond. Drop P for pens. We're going to throw in, let's pick 5 for now. There goes Shazam. Now, we didn't turn into a superhero or anything, but this is a little cheat. You'd throw money in there and you would have equipment appear in your inventory. The way to look at my inventory is that I pick R for ready, like preparing. So let's do that, and now I can choose whether I want to prepare weapon, armor, or spell. So let's prepare weapon. And we got a dagger and hands, and that fountain will give us different weapons when they throw more money in there. So this time let's throw in 10 coins. Again, that beautiful sound. See what we got. We got a sword, so let's ready that. But there's even better stuff in there, and it's like RNG, I guess. Oh, hold on. Let me drop some more money in there. Guess I'm gambling. Let's see what we got. Got the rope and spikes. We can sell that stuff as well, so it's not really that bad to throw most of my money in there. And again, this time we got a pistol. And so yeah, this may sound a little antagonistic and not really appropriate, but that was the thing with the early Ultima games. They did combine fantasy and medieval vibes with science fiction. Actually, in this game and the next game, you actually go to space. You fly around in a ship. You can buy your shuttle to travel around, and I think that's like I don't know, I guess it's a little inspired by Star Wars. Star Wars was a huge influence, Richard Garriott as well. And if we take a look at it, I mean, Star Wars is science fiction, but it also has some fantasy elements with the Force and, like Jedi Knights and stuff. And there's other stuff from the 70s and 80s that was like that. So I guess it was just, those were the days. So let's throw some more money in there, see if we can get anything else. Ready my weapon. And I got a great sword, which is one of the coolest weapons. And yeah, I didn't even really play yet, but I got one of the coolest weapons already. So I'm not going to talk to the king, who will give me a quest. I'm going to go to town and see whether I can get some more equipment. Basically, the gameplay loop is that you walk around, you can go to different dungeons and explore them, kill enemies to get some coins and equipment. and eventually you want to do those quests for the different kings. There are, I think, 8 kings in total, because there are 4 continents or lands, and each of them had 2 kings. And right now I'm just gonna take you through the game a little bit. Let's check it out together, and I'm gonna show you what a town looks like. Get different shops here. We got a transport system where you can, or like a transport shop where you can buy like a horse. We've got a pub where we can hear rumors. We can buy food, armor, and weapons. So let's check out whether this guy has something for me. Gonna hit T for transact, buy. And there's the leather armor, which I can actually buy, which is an okay upgrade for the moment. Let's ready that armor. Leather armor. And we're pretty much set for the first few adventures. Let's, I'm trying to avoid YOLO, the bard, that guy in the yellow shirt, because he can steal stuff from you, so I want to try to avoid him. He's gonna steal weapons, and he's not gonna steal the one you have equipped, but the others. And I was talking about food, and you can buy food from those stores, and as you can see on the lower right, I've got hit points. When I hit 0 on those, I'm dead, of course. I've got food. When I hit 0 on that, I'm dead. And I spend food by walking around in the outside world. Doesn't happen in towns or dungeons, but in the outside world I will lose food, and once I'm at 0, I'm dead. So I'm gonna sell the weapons. I'm not gonna use the dagger. And the rope and spikes I'm gonna sell, which is E. Let's sell some more, transact, sell. And I'm not gonna use the sword, I guess. So I'm gonna hold on to the pistol, which is of course a ranged weapon, which can be cool, and my greatsword, and let's go adventuring. So the first part of the game should be spent by exploring the world a little bit, earning coin, earning experience. Leveling isn't really that easy. You have to do certain things, like do quests, and then reach certain parts of the world to level up. But you can get better equipment in dungeons. You can get gold there. And also, that's one way to heal, because you cannot like drink a potion to heal or anything. You have to either walk into the castle, and give money to the king, and he will give you back hit points, or you could go into dungeons and kill enemies, and if you make it out again alive, you will get some hit points back. So let's see if we can find a dungeon or something to fight. Wow, beautiful. It's a dungeon right there, but I can't really get to it because oh, I can actually. Walking through this forest. I can't pass the mountains, I can't pass the water, I need the boat for that. So let's go in here, and that's gonna be the big surprise. Unless you already know. This is what the dungeons look like. It goes into eco perspective. And of course, we're not talking about Doom eco perspective, we're talking about 1981 type eco perspectives. And oh, there's my first enemy. I'm gonna attack and one-shot it, yay. And you can walk around in this dungeon, you get attacked, and these dungeons have different layers. I'm on the first layer right now. I can climb down further. Oops, it's a rogue. And let's attack him. Yeah, he's dead. And those rogues can steal stuff from you. And there's a coffin, which I'm gonna open. And I've got 8 copper. So slowly but surely, we're earning some money. There's a ranger right there, let's attack him. And as you can tell, the greatsword is a pretty powerful weapon. And yeah, so you can walk around in these dungeons, dive deeper. One of the early quests you get is to kill a certain slime enemy, which you can find deep in those dungeons. And we've got another town here. Let's enter that. And let's see if they got different equipment. You can see there's a magic store as well. Well, chainmail would be pretty cool, plate mail as well, but we don't have the money for that right now. So I could now go back to the dungeons and farm some more. Oh, by the way, you saw that I started with 150 hit points. I was hit a couple of times in a dungeon, but now I've got 177 hit points because I got hit points back for what I did in a dungeon, even though it just went in there for a second. There is an open world enemy. Let's see. It's a hood. Use that as well. And so we're slowly gaining more coins. So basically what you do is you walk around, you do quests for the kings, which are really simple, or I mean they're not easy, but they're pretty straightforward. You explore those dungeons, you do the quest, and then eventually you get a boat. You can get a horse for yourself to spend less food while traveling, and then eventually you would face mundane. So that was the first game, and you know, it looks really, I mean, compare that to a modern day RPG, or even the later Ultima games, this looks really outdated, but still it was fun. So there was a little peek at the game and a general overview of how the game works. There's also a space shooter element later on, believe it or not, and it's a really cool classic game. So I will probably do a let's play of this on my channel, and I would like to also show you the later Ultima games up to Ultima Online, and some modern games inspired by that. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed this. If you are interested in the game, you can buy 2 collections on GOG.com, with combining the first 3 games and then games 4, 5 and 6, and the other ones 7 and its different versions, 8 to 9 you can buy there as well. So whatever you do, have fun adventuring. And yeah, I was just attacked by an evil trend. So good luck, thanks for watching, and see you next time.